Captain Jake Morrison stared at the screen in front of him. The small dots on the radar showed something big floating in space near the fourth planet. His ship, the Phoenix, had been flying through this empty part of space for 3 weeks. They were looking for new planets and checking old signals. This signal was different. "Captain, that thing is huge," said his engineer, Pete Williams. Pete was a young man from Texas who could fix anything that broke on their ship. He pointed at the readings. "It looks like some kind of space station, but it's been dead for a long time." Jake nodded. He was 42 years old and had been flying between stars for 15 years. He had seen many strange things, but something about this felt wrong. The station was too quiet, too dark. "Lisa, get your team ready," Jake told his security chief. Lisa Carter was tough. She came from a military family and knew how to handle danger. She had short brown hair and green eyes that missed nothing. "Already on it, Captain," Lisa said. She was checking her weapons and putting on her spacesuit. "I'll take Ryan and Pete with me." Dr. Ryan Foster was their medic. He was a quiet man who cared more about helping people than talking. He had gentle hands and always carried extra medical supplies. Ryan had joined their crew 2 years ago after his wife died in an accident. Flying between stars helped him forget his pain. Three of them took a small shuttle to the alien station. As they got closer, they could see it better. The station was made of dark metal that looked almost alive. Strange symbols covered the walls. Some parts of it were broken, with holes that showed the inside. "This place gives me the creeps," Pete said into his radio. His voice shook a little. "Stay alert," Lisa replied. She was holding her weapon ready. "We don't know what's in there." They found a way inside through a torn section of the outer wall. The air inside was thin but breathable. Their lights showed long hallways filled with dust and floating pieces of metal. Everything was cold and dead. They walked carefully through the station. Their boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. Along the walls, they found rooms with strange equipment. Some rooms had beds with chains. Others had machines that looked like they were made to cause pain. "What kind of place is this?" Ryan asked. He was looking at a room full of needles and tubes. "Nothing good," Lisa said. She kept her weapon ready as they moved deeper into the station. They found many cells along the main hallway. Most were empty. Some had bones inside. A few had glass boxes with dead aliens floating in green liquid. The smell was terrible. At the very end of the hallway, they found a door that was different from the others. It was bigger and had more locks. Strange writing covered it in a language none of them could read. "Pete, can you open this?" Lisa asked. Pete looked at the door for a few minutes. He used his tools to find the right wires. "Give me a second," he said. Sparks flew as he worked on the controls. Finally, the door made a loud noise and slowly opened. What they saw inside made them all stop breathing. In the middle of the room was a creature that looked like a giant cat. She was as big as a lion but had longer legs and arms like a person. Her fur was golden brown with black stripes. But what made Jake's team feel sick was what had been done to her. Heavy chains were wrapped around her arms and legs. The chains glowed with blue light and made buzzing sounds. Every few seconds, blue electricity ran through them, making the creature shake with pain. She had been hanging there for so long that her fur was falling out in places. Around her feet were 3 small babies. They looked like tiny versions of their mother. Their fur was thin and they were so weak they could barely move. The mother was using her body to protect them from the electric chains, even though it meant she felt more pain. The big cat's eyes were bright yellow and full of intelligence. When she saw the humans, she tried to growl, but she was too weak. She pushed her babies behind her legs, trying to protect them even though she could barely stand. "Oh my God," Ryan whispered. He dropped his equipment and ran toward them. "Lisa, we have to help them." "Wait," Lisa said, but Ryan was already kneeling next to the babies. They were so small and thin, their little bodies were hot with fever. The mother cat watched Ryan carefully. She was scared but also hopeful. When Ryan gently touched one of the babies and it stopped shaking so much, something changed in her eyes. She made a soft sound, almost like she was asking for help. Pete was looking around the room. "Captain," he said into his radio. You need to see this place. Someone was doing terrible things here. Jake's voice came through their radios. What did you find? We found a mother and her babies, Lisa said. They've been chained up and tortured. The babies are dying. There was silence for a moment. Then Jake said, Get them out of there. Do whatever you have to do. Pete started working on the chains while Ryan took care of the babies. The chains were designed to cause as much pain as possible while keeping the prisoner alive. Every time Pete touched them, electricity shot through the mother cat's body. I'm sorry, Pete kept saying as he worked. I'm so sorry. The mother cat seemed to understand that he was trying to help. She stopped fighting and let him work, even though each touch brought more pain. Lisa stood guard at the door. She had found files on a computer that told a horrible story. This station belonged to a race called the Vorthak. They captured other, intelligent species and used them for experiments. The cat people were special because they healed fast and loved their families deeply. This made them perfect for testing how much pain a loving parent could take. The files said the mother's name was Kyra. She had been a healer on her home planet before the Vorthak took her. They had been torturing her for over a year, trying to break her spirit and steal her knowledge of medicine. Finally, Pete got the chains off. Kara fell to the ground, too weak to stand. But the first thing she did was gather her babies close to her body. She licked their faces and made soft, purring sounds. Ryan gave her water and food. She drank a little, then used her mouth to give water to each baby. Even though she was dying, she put her children first. We're going to take you somewhere safe, Ryan told her, even though he knew she couldn't understand English, but somehow she seemed to know what he meant. As they carried the family back to their shuttle, Lisa looked back at the torture chamber. She made a promise to herself that the people who built this place would pay for what they had done. The rescue was just the beginning. Back on the Phoenix, Captain Jake Morrison watched his team carry the alien family into the medical bay. Kyra was unconscious from pain and weakness. Her 3 babies were barely breathing. Dr. Ryan Foster worked quickly to save them. Captain, I need to change the whole medical bay, Ryan said. His hands were shaking as he checked the babies' heartbeats. These are not humans. I don't know what medicine will help them and what might kill them. Jake nodded. Do whatever you need to do. Use the whole ship if you have to. Pete Williams was already working on the air system. The cat family needed warmer air with more moisture. He changed the temperature and added water vapor to help them breathe better. Lisa Carter stood guard outside the medical bay. She was still angry about what she had seen on the space station. Captain, we need to report this to Earth Command, she said. Not yet, Jake replied. First we save them, then we worry about paperwork. Ryan had never treated aliens before, but he was learning fast. The babies were too weak to eat normal food. He mixed water with sugar and vitamins, then used a small tube to feed them drop by drop. Their little tongues were rough like Earth cats, but their teeth were different. When Kyra woke up, she was scared. She tried to jump up and protect her babies, but she was too weak. She made loud growling sounds and showed her teeth. Easy, easy, Ryan said softly. He moved slowly and kept his hands where she could see them. We want to help you. Kyra did not understand his words, but she understood his gentle voice. She watched him feed her babies and give them medicine. Slowly, she began to relax. The biggest baby, who had brown and gold fur, was the strongest. Ryan called him Goldie because he did not know the real name. The middle baby was all black with white paws. Ryan called her Socks. The smallest baby was gray with silver stripes. She was the weakest, and Ryan was most worried about her. He called her Silver. For 3 days, Ryan barely slept. He fed the babies every 2 hours and gave them medicine to fight infection. Kyra watched everything he did. Sometimes she would make soft sounds that seemed like she was trying to thank him. On the 4th day, something amazing happened. Silver, the smallest baby, opened her eyes and made a tiny purring sound. Kyra's eyes filled with tears, real tears just like humans cry when they are happy. Captain, Ryan called over the ship's radio. "I think they're going to make it." But Jake had bigger problems now. A message had come from Earth Command. They had heard about the alien family and wanted Jake to hand them over to the science department for study. "Absolutely not," Jake said, when he read the message. "These are not things to be studied. They are people with feelings and families." His crew agreed with him. Pete had been bringing small toys to the babies. Lisa had been teaching them simple words like food and water. Even the ship's cook, an old man named Bob Turner, was making special food that the cat family could eat. Kara was getting stronger, every day. She started walking around the medical bay, always staying close to her babies. She watched the humans carefully, learning their habits. She saw that they were kind and gentle, very different from the Vorthak who had hurt her. One day, Ryan was feeding Silver when Kara made a sound he had never heard before. It was musical, almost like singing. She was looking at him and touching her chest with her paw. "I think she's trying to tell me her name," Ryan told Jake. Ryan pointed to himself and said, "Ryan." Then he pointed to Kara and waited. Kyra understood. She touched her chest and made the musical sound again. "Kyra," she said slowly. "Kara," Ryan repeated. Her eyes lit up when he said it right. Then Kara pointed to her babies. The big one was Toru, which sounded like Toreu. The black one was Nyla, and the little gray one was Mira. Every day, Kyra learned more English words. The first word she really understood was safe. When Ryan said, "You are safe here," she repeated safe over and over, like it was the most beautiful word she had ever heard. Jake knew they could not keep running from Earth Command forever, but he also knew he could not give up this family. They had been through too much pain already. Then Pete had an idea. "Captain, what if we ask for help from the colonies? There are a lot of people out there who don't like Earth Command telling them what to do." Jake thought about it. The outer colonies were always fighting with Earth about independence. Maybe they would help protect an alien family from government scientists. He sent a secret message to his friend Commander Helen Scott on the colony world New Texas. Helen had left Earth's military because she thought they were too controlling. Helen's answer came back in 2 hours. "Bring them here. We'll protect them." But getting to New Texas would not be easy. Earth Command ships were already looking for the Phoenix. They would have to be very careful. As Jake planned their escape route, he watched Kyra playing with her babies in the medical bay. She was teaching them to walk on 2 legs like humans. When she saw Jake watching, she said one of her new English words. "Thank you." Jake smiled. "You're welcome, Kyra. We're going to get you somewhere safe." The journey to freedom was about to begin. The Phoenix flew through space toward New Texas, but it was not an easy journey. Earth Command ships were looking for them everywhere. Jake had to take long routes through empty space to avoid being caught. During the 3-week trip, something wonderful happened. Kyra and her babies became part of the crew family. Every day, Kyra learned more English words. She was very smart and picked up new words quickly. "Food," she would say, pointing to her mouth when she was hungry. "Water," she would say when she was thirsty. But the word she used most was friend. She called all the humans her friends. The babies were growing strong and playful. Toru, the biggest one, loved to follow Pete around the ship. He would copy everything Pete did. When Pete fixed machines, Toru would pretend to fix things too with his little paws. Nyla, the black baby with white paws, was very curious. She explored every corner of the ship. Lisa had to watch her carefully because Nyla liked to climb into small spaces where she could get stuck. Mira, the smallest baby, was the smartest. She learned English words faster than her brothers and sister. She also learned to use her hands like humans. Ryan taught her to help him organize his medical supplies. One day, Kyra surprised everyone. She was watching Dr. Ryan work on a crew member who had hurt his arm. The man's arm was swollen and painful. Ryan was trying different medicines, but nothing was helping. Kara came over and looked at the arm. She made soft sounds and touched her own chest. Then she went to the garden area where Pete grew vegetables for food. She came back with 3 different plants. Kyra want help, she said in her careful English. She showed Ryan how to mix the plants together. Medicine. Good for pain. Ryan was not sure if he should trust alien medicine, but the crew member was in bad pain. Okay, he said. Let's try it. Kara mixed the plants with water and made a green paste. She put it on the man's arm and wrapped it with clean cloth. Within an hour, the swelling went down and the pain stopped. How did you know that would work? Ryan asked. Kara smiled. It was the first time anyone had seen her smile. I doctor on my world. I know plants. I know healing. From that day on, Kara worked with Ryan in the medical bay. She taught him about plants that could heal sickness and stop pain. Ryan taught her about human medicine and how to use medical machines. They became a great team. But Kyra also shared sad stories about her homeworld. She told them about the Vorthak attack. Her people had been peaceful and focused on healing and science. They never expected war. My people live in big trees, she said one evening, as they all sat together eating dinner. Trees tall like your buildings. We have cities in the branches. Very beautiful. What happened to your world? Jake asked gently. Kara's eyes became sad. Vorthak came at night. They burn trees. They take people. My mate. My husband. He tried to protect us. Vorthak kill him. She wiped away a tear. They take me and babies. Want to steal our healing knowledge. The crew was quiet. They felt angry and sad for Kara and her family. We carry knowledge here, Kyra said, pointing to her head. Vorthak tried to take it out, hurt us to make us tell secrets. But we never tell. Knowledge stays safe. Lisa put her hand on Kyra's shoulder. You're safe now. They can't hurt you anymore, The days passed. The babies grew bigger and stronger. They learned to speak both English and their own language. They played games with the crew and helped with simple jobs around the ship. Toru learned to help Pete with repairs. His small paws could reach places that were too tight for human hands. Nyla became Lisa's helper, using her sharp eyes to spot problems during security checks. Mira worked with Ryan and Kyra in the medical bay, learning about both human and alien healing. The crew learned about Kyra's people too. They were called the Felani, and they were master healers. Each Felani family kept special knowledge about medicine that was passed down from parents to children for thousands of years. My family knowledge very old, Kara explained. We know how to heal things your doctors cannot heal. But knowledge is in my head only. If I die, knowledge dies too. Jake realized how important this was. We need to write down everything you know. That way the knowledge will be safe even if something happens to you. So Kyra began teaching her medical knowledge to the ship's computer. She worked with Ryan to record everything. Which plants could heal different diseases, how to make medicines, how to treat injuries that human doctors thought were impossible to fix. The babies helped too. They had learned their mother's songs and stories. These contained important information about their people's history and culture. The crew recorded everything so that the Felani knowledge would not be lost. One day Mira came to Jake with a question. Captain Jake, are we your family now? Jake looked at the little gray kitten with silver stripes. Her big golden eyes were full of hope and trust. Yes, Mira. You are all part of our family now. Mira hugged his leg. Good. I like being human family. That night, as Jake checked on everyone before sleep, he found Kara sitting alone looking out at the stars. She seemed sad. What's wrong, Kara? He asked. I think about my world, she said quietly. My people still there, still being hurt by Vorthak. I am safe, but they are not safe. Jake sat down next to her. Maybe someday we can help your people too. Kara looked at him with surprise. You would do that? Help people you do not know? Yes, Jake said. That's what friends do. They help each other. Kara smiled again. Humans very strange, very kind. On my world we have saying, when darkness comes, light shines brighter. You are light in darkness, Captain Jake. As they got closer to New Texas, Jake knew their journey was far from over. Earth Command would not give up easily. But looking at Kyra and her babies, now healthy and happy, he knew they had done the right thing. The bond between humans and Filani was stronger than any law or government order. 2 days before reaching New Texas, the worst thing happened. 3 Earth Command warships appeared on the Phoenix's radar. They had been waiting in hiding near the planet. Phoenix, this is Admiral Frank Stone on the battleship Washington, came, a cold voice over the radio. You will stop your ship immediately and surrender the alien specimens for proper scientific study. Jake looked at his crew. Lisa was checking her weapons. Pete was making sure the ship could fly fast if needed. Ryan was with Kyra and the babies in the medical bay. This is Captain Jake Morrison, Jake replied. I have no specimens aboard this ship. I have a family of refugees who asked for help. Captain Morrison, you are in violation of Earth Command Regulation 247. All alien life forms must be turned over to the Science Division. This is your final warning. Jake turned off the radio and called his crew together. Kyra came too, carrying little Mira while Toru and Nyla held onto her legs. They want to take you away for experiments, Jake told Kyra honestly. We won't let that happen, but I want you to know the truth. Kyra's eyes filled with fear, but then she stood up straight. If they take us, we die fighting. No more cages. No more pain for my babies. Nobody is taking anyone, Lisa said firmly. We fight together. But 3 warships against 1 small exploration vessel was not a fair fight. The Phoenix had light, shields, and no weapons. The warships had enough firepower to destroy a whole city. Then Jake had an idea. He sent out a message on all frequencies. Not just to Earth Command, but to every ship and colony in the area. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Phoenix. I have a message for anyone who believes in freedom and protecting the innocent. We rescued a mother and her 3 children from a torture chamber. They are not things to be studied. They are people, with feelings, dreams, and the right to be free. Earth Command wants to put them in cages again. We need help. At first, nothing happened. The 3 warships moved closer, preparing to capture the Phoenix. Jake thought his plan had failed. Then, 1 ship appeared on the radar, then another, then 5 more. Phoenix, this is Captain Mary Walsh of the cargo ship Freedom, we're with you. Phoenix, this is the mining vessel Iron Mountain. Nobody puts families in cages while we're around. This is the passenger liner New Hope. We stand with the Phoenix. More and more ships kept coming. Cargo ships, mining vessels, passenger liners, even small private ships. Soon there were 30 ships surrounding the Phoenix, all facing the 3 Earth Command warships. Admiral Stone was angry. All civilian vessels, leave this area immediately or face charges of interfering with military operations. Captain Walsh answered for all of them. Admiral, these ships represent free people from 12 different colonies. We don't take orders from Earth anymore, and we sure don't stand by while you hurt children. Kyra watched everything from the bridge. She had never seen anything like it. Strangers were risking their lives to protect her family. She began to cry. Not sad tears, but happy tears. Why? She asked Jake. Why do they help us? They do not know us. Jake smiled. Because that's what humans do. When we see someone who needs help, we help. It doesn't matter if they're human or alien. Right is right. The standoff continued for hours. More ships kept arriving until there were over 60 vessels protecting the Phoenix. Earth Command had only 3 ships, but they were much more powerful. Then something unexpected happened. A new voice came on the radio. This is Commander Helen Scott of the New Texas Defense Force. Admiral Stone, you are in New Texas space without permission. Leave now or we will consider this an act of war. 5 military ships from New Texas appeared behind the Earth Command vessels. Now the Earth ships were surrounded. Admiral Stone was trapped. He could fight, but that would mean war between Earth and the colonies, all for one alien family. This is not over, Morrison, Admiral Stone said finally. Earth Command will not forget this. Neither will we, Jake replied. The day Earth Command puts politics above protecting the innocent is the day they lose the right to speak for humanity. The Earth ships left, but Jake knew they would be back. Admiral Stone was not the kind of man who gave up easily. On New Texas, Kyra and her babies were welcomed as heroes. The colonists had heard their story and wanted to help. They built a special house for the family with tall climbing trees like their home world. Dr. Ryan Foster opened a new medical center with Kyra as his partner. Her healing knowledge saved many lives. The three babies grew up learning both human and Filani ways. Toru became an engineer like Pete, designing new ships that could travel faster and safer. Nyla joined the New Texas Security Force, protecting other refugees who came seeking help. Mira became a doctor like her mother, learning to heal both humans and aliens. But the most important thing was what happened next. The story of the Phoenix spread across the galaxy. Other species heard how humans had risked everything to protect one alien family. They began to trust humans more. Ships from many worlds started coming to human colonies, bringing refugees and asking for help. Humans opened their doors and welcomed them all. Earth Command tried to stop this, but they could not. The colonies declared independence and formed the Free Worlds Alliance. Their first law was simple. All intelligent beings have the right to freedom and protection, regardless of species or origin. 5 years later, Jake was promoted to Admiral of the Alliance Fleet. His job was to rescue families like Kyra's from places like the Vorthak torture station. On the anniversary of the rescue, Kyra came to visit Jake on his new ship. She was older now, with gray in her fur, but her eyes were still bright and kind. "You changed everything," she told him. "Not just for my family, but for all families across the stars." Jake shook his head. "We didn't change anything, Kyra. We just remembered what it means to be human. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is simply help someone who needs it." Mira, now a grown adult, hugged Jake's leg like she used to when she was little. "Thank you for making us part of your family, Uncle Jake." As Jake looked out at the stars, he thought about all the families they had saved since that first day. The galaxy was a better place because people chose to do what was right instead of what was easy. And somewhere out there, the Phoenix was still flying, still rescuing families, still proving that the best thing about humanity was their willingness to help those who could not help themselves. The story had no ending because kindness never ends.